Refreshments are available in the lobby. And please, keep our theater clean by disposing of trash in specified containers. And remember, gift certificates are available for any special occasion. Enjoy the show.
What are you doing, you hooligan?
Officer, two hooligans just set off fireworks in my backyard.
Hooligans? Wow, fireworks are very illegal in the state of Dix Hills. We've just outlawed them. Hop in the car, we'll go get them. Bye now. Harry! Time for sentencing!
I dropped the soap 4 times.
Take a seat.
Well, what do we have here?
Here, because I'm black. It wasn't me.
I've heard differently. I hear you're our bio friend and a lot too.
Believe whatever you want. I'm innocent.
Are you sure about that? You're facing up to 5 years in prison if you're convicted, man.
I ain't saying jack squat. I want a lawyer.
I don't care how much you want a lawyer, man. You gotta talk eventually.
Give me my lawyer.
I'm gonna break you whether you like it or not!
Give me my lawyer.
You don't have that right.
Bo! Time for sentencing! Up and at 'em, Mo. Take a seat.
I hate that these last 2 freaking numbers!
You seem mad.
I am mad. You know why?
Because you can't do Sudoku.
Damn right. And now you're in here, giving me a hard time. You're facing up to 5 years in prison if you're convicted. Did you know that?
I didn't do a thing. I'm innocent.
Really? I have people who say otherwise.
They're wrong. They're liars.
Really?
Yes.
You're saying that right to my face? Lester, I highly recommend that you just confess what you've done.
I haven't done a thing. No, nothing to confess.
You're facing far less years in prison if you just tell us what you've done. Just confess to your sins.
I haven't done a thing. And I think you're a little mad. I think you're
I'm trying to help you. I'm looking out for your best interests.
I think you're mad.
Would your mother be proud of
think
you?
So to get the maximum sentence for the 2 prisoners, we're gonna have to use game theory. In game theory, the 2 prisoners cannot collude. So this is the matrix we're gonna use, and this is the phenomenon known as the prisoner's dilemma.
In this matrix, both Harry and Mo have a dominant strategy to confess, which means, thank you, Dylan. Nash equilibrium occurs right over here. Because both of them want to stay silent and get the 2 years, but they don't know what the other person's going to end up doing, so their both dominant strategy is to confess. In this situation, neither of Harry nor Mo is going to end up dominating.
So if I confess, I get either 2 or 5 years. But if I don't confess, I stay silent, then I get 3 or 10. And the best option is to confess.
Higher talked to my lawyer and he advised me to confess. So I'm gonna take 2 years in the meantime.
I'm here at Guantanamo Bay with Economics 101. I'm Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and here are my two students. Please introduce yourselves.
Mo.
I'm Harry. I don't know why they kept monkeys on.
Over here we have our first graph we'll be learning about today, the ADAS graph. On the graph you'll see two curves, the SRAS and the AD, where the aggregate AD stands for aggregate demand and SRAS stands for short run aggregate supply. The aggregate demand is generally downward sloping and the SRAS is upward sloping. The place where they intersect is the equilibrium point, and from there you dot down to the x-axis, which is labeled as real GDP. Does anyone know what real GDP means? Mo?
Real GDP encompasses all consumer spending, investments, government spending, and net export.
Good. And on the y-axis, where you dot over to, you have price level. Does anyone know what price level is? Harry?
Price level takes into account inflation.
Very, very good. Over here we have the loanable funds market graph. On the loanable funds market we have the supply of loanable funds, which is upward sloping, and the demand of loanable funds, which is downward sloping. And the intersection between them is the equilibrium point. From there you dot down to the x-axis and you label it Q for quantity of loanable funds. From there you dot down to the side to the right, to the y-axis, where it's labeled real interest rates, and you put an I. Over here we have the money market graph. On the graph you'll see two curves, the vertical money supply curve and the downward sloping money demand curve. The only thing that can shift the money supply curve is the Federal Reserve, also known as the Fed. And over here you'll see the money demand curve. As the demand for money increases, the nominal interest rates go up, and as it decreases, nominal interest rates go down. And that's one of the key differences between the loanable funds market and the money market graph. On the loanable funds market, you'll see on the y-axis that it has real interest rates, whereas on the money market graph, it has nominal interest rates. Does anyone know what nominal interest rates are?
Unlike real
Yes,
interest rates, nominal interest rates take into account inflation.
Yes, that is good. Thank you. Now before we start monetary versus fiscal policy, does either of you know the difference between the two? Mo?
I think fiscal policy has to do with the Fed and their open market operations, while monetary has to do with taxes and government spending.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He just said that? Oh my gosh.
He did just say that.
Oh my, okay. Mo, let me tell you something. Fiscal policy has to do with the government, and monetary policy has to do with the Fed.
Thank you, Harry.
Sure? That's right.
100%.
100% that is correct.
possible.
Alright, so I switched to my fault.
It's okay. Over here you'll see fiscal policy. If you want to expand the economy and increase aggregate demand, you have to either decrease taxes or increase government spending. Now, an increase in government spending always has a greater impact on the economy than a corresponding decrease in taxes. If you want to contract aggregate demand, which would be used during an inflationary period, you would either increase the taxes or decrease government spending. Yes, Mo.
So then, expansionary policy would be used during a recessionary period.
Yes, that is correct. Over here you'll see monetary policy. If you want to use expansionary monetary policy, you would either buy bonds, decrease the reserve requirement, lower the discount rate, or lower the federal funds rate. And if you want to use contractionary monetary policy, you would either sell bonds, increase the reserve requirement, increase the discount rate, or increase the federal funds rate. Now if you use expansionary monetary policy and you buy bonds, that puts more money into the economy, shifting money supply to the right, causing a lower interest rate. That causes interest rate sensitive components of aggregate demand to increase, thus shifting aggregate demand to the right.
And,
Yes, Harry.
And
What
Well,
I said Harry.
What does RER?
That stands for reserve requirement.
Wait,
But
so
good question.
an interest rate.
Yes, Mo.
An interest rate sensitive component would be like investments.
Exactly. Very good. Now that we've discussed monetary policy, let's look at a couple of more of the terms a little more in depth. What is the RER, as Harry called it before? Mo.
The RER is the reserve requirement, which means the minimum amount of money that the banks must keep as reserves.
Very good. Now what's the discount rate? Harry.
The discount rate is the rate that the bank pays to the Fed funds, only a short term.
Very good. And the last one, what's the federal funds rate? Ooh, this is a tough call. Who wants it bad? Harry, you let out to me.
Yes!
You let out to me. I couldn't say no.
Yes! The federal funds rate is the bank is the rate that the banks pay to each other.
Very, very.
No, honey, I'm good. I could have another, but I probably should not. I got somebody at home. It's been a long night here and a long night there, and these long, long legs are damn near everywhere. Hold up, now you look good. I will not lie, but if you ask where I'm staying tonight,
Prison.
I be like, oh baby, no baby, you got me all wrong, baby. My baby's already got all of my love.
Ahem. So we have Jordan Brodsky as Cliff, Dylan D, or Double D, as Harry, Zach Malo as Ziggy the homeowner, Brandon N as Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and John S as Mo.